and action.
Well, it's certainly a pleasure for me to observe the fact of my old friend and colleague Reed Gardner receiving the Morris Collen Award, well-deserved.
When I heard that Reed had been chosen to receive this award, I thought it was just a perfect choice.
Reed Gardner was born in October 1937 in St. George, Utah, at the very doorstep of Zion National Park. He was the fourth of 5 children born to Wayne and Bessie Gardner. Reed's dad, a sheep rancher, died in a winter storm out on the range when Reed was just 11. And from then on, his mother had to run the family sheep business as well as raise her family. The challenges Reed faced growing up infused him with a strong work ethic and a focus on getting things done. After high school, Reed attended Dixie Junior College, where he earned an associate degree in pre-engineering. But more importantly than anything that happened in the classroom, at Dixie College, Reed met a lovely young woman named Jackie Christensen, who would become the future Mrs. Reed Gardner. First, though, it was time for Reed to leave home, traveling some 300 miles to Salt Lake City and the U. That would be the University of Utah. Reed and Jackie were married after his second year at the U, and the seeds of his prolific research and publishing activity had already begun to emerge. In his final year, Reed received a National Science Foundation undergraduate research fellowship. He traveled to Corvallis, Oregon, where a paper he had written won the regional IEEE contest, and he garnered a bachelor degree in electrical engineering, graduating with honors. For 2 summers, Reed had interned at Hewlett-Packard and had his sights set on a career in industry. But one serendipitous day, his senior thesis professor introduced him to medical informatics pioneer Homer R. Warner. And as they say, the rest is history.
Reed Gardner was my first graduate student. He actually entered the program before we really had a formal program.
Not only did Reed decide to stay at the U to pursue a PhD, but that led to an academic career, and Reed would work with the distinguished Dr. Warner for the next 4 decades. In 1968, Reed completed his PhD and joined the faculty as Dr. Gardner. Reed is always the first to note that the work he became involved in at the Latter-day Saints Hospital was a team effort, but Reed was a critical member of that team. You see, he was the hardware man. Where special hardware didn't exist or was too expensive, Reed just built it.
Everything was new. There was no opportunity to go out to the marketplace and say, I think I'll buy this because I want to perform this function. Every idea had to be conceived of, developed, and implemented internally within our laboratory. And Reed had the responsibility of developing that hardware, which allowed us to accomplish that information.
Reed's contributions were vital to the development of the HELP system. HELP stands for Health Evaluation Through Logical Processing. And over time, Reed contributed to hardware for bedside blood pressure monitoring, pulmonary function testing, and the monitoring and charting of mothers during delivery.
Remembering that there were many, many people who would give a negative to the question, does a computer have a role in medicine? I mean, it was easier to say no than it was to say yes. So I think he and Homer Warner and his colleagues would be congratulated for the patience with which they pursued these ideas. I'm sure that there were many times where he attempted to give up and didn't.
As the range of Reed's activity grew, he transitioned from his role as a developer of hardware to evaluator, focusing upon first the evaluation of the specific instrumentation or monitoring system, then to the impact of that system on the process of care itself, and ultimately upon the evaluation of the impact on the entire hospital information system.
Reed is such a gentle guy that you really wouldn't use the word fierce to describe him, but I found him to be fiercely honest when dealing with matters of science and intellectual integrity. He was never afraid to be self-critical or critical of the systems that he was building.
Recognized for his knowledge in signal acquisition and processing, Reed was a consultant to industry and in demand around the world. In 1969, Reed, Alan Pryor, and their families traveled to Kiel, Germany to install a computerized heart catheterization laboratory in a children's hospital where Reed served as a guest professor. Reed also helped NASA study the monitoring and telemetry of the astronauts as they experienced the weightlessness of outer space. And in 1975, at the height of the Cold War, he traveled to the Soviet Union for the National Cancer Institute. Reed is a gifted mentor who loves to be in the classroom as well as working with students one-on-one. In 1996, Reed once again followed in the footsteps of his mentor, Homer Warner, as he moved from LDS Hospital to the campus of the University of Utah and assumed the reins of the Department of Medical Informatics.
He's done a tremendous job, and many of his students have gone on to achieve fame in their own right, and I think Reed's probably as proud of them as any other accomplishment. He should be, because he's made a tremendous contribution that will be around long after he's gone.
Reed's colleagues speak of his commitment to the profession and his willingness to give back. He has served in leadership positions in a broad range of organizations that have intersected with his career.
We found Reed spending considerable of his time working with a lot of these organizations to share not only the information that we were developing, but also bring to us and throughout the world that information and standards that were being developed worldwide.
Within AMIA, Reed has held several posts, including president and chairman of the board. Under Reed's leadership, the University of Utah has become a National Library of Medicine training site.
I do hope that he's already working on the problems that we're going to be facing 10 or 15 years from now, and I have every confidence that he is, and I wish him well in it.
While Reed might be quiet and self-effacing with, as he likes to say, the temperament of a St. George sheepherder, he is nonetheless an extremely proud father of 5 and is only too happy to enumerate the individual contributions his kids are making to healthcare through careers in medicine and allied health fields. He takes similar pride in maintaining the 130-year-old family homestead in St. George, an adobe structure with walls 15 inches thick to block the summer heat. And it's probably not surprising that the zeal with which Reed has fashioned his life in informatics extends well beyond as he fervently shares his love of the outdoors with family, friends, and colleagues. And he places a special emphasis upon shaping young men through scouting. Reed Gardner has always been about making sure that his contributions, or any others for that matter, make a measurable difference. But all who know him feel that receiving the 2005 Morris F. Collen Award will make little or no measurable difference in Reed.
Now, Reed, you have to take into account that having won the Collen Prize may change your life. You may not ever be able to walk across the airport again without people following you with cameras and flash bulbs and magazines. But we count on you to take it all into account, and if you are at all disturbed by this, then ask Al Pryor and Homer Warner to take you golfing, and that'll help you to relax.
Well, Reed, I want to just congratulate you on this award. I think it's very well deserved, and I'm sure that you're pleased to get it. It brings honor not only to you, but to our department and to the field of medical informatics.
He's been a teacher of students, he's been a researcher, an evaluator, a real leader in this field, and so it's very, very fitting that he get this award.
Thanks for being my friend and working with me throughout these years. Amen.